find a girl. Come on, we'll dance all night. Despite the heat, it'll be alright. And babe, don't you know it's a pity that the days can't be like the nights in the summer, in the city, in the summer, in the city. Cool town, even in the city, dressed so fine and looking so pretty. Cool cat, looking for a kitty, gone looking at the corner of the city. Till I wheeze like a bus stop, running up the stairs, gonna meet you on the rooftop. In the night it's a different world, going out and find a girl. Come on, we'll dance all night. Despite the heat, it'll be alright. And babe, don't you know it's a pity that the days can't be like the nights in the summer, in the city, in the summer, in the city. Summer in the city, back of my neck getting dirty and gritty. Been down, isn't it a pity? Doesn't seem to be a shadow in the city. All around the people looking white, dead, walking down the sidewalk, hotter than a matches. Come at night, it's a different world, going out and find a girl. Come on, we'll dance all night. Despite the heat, it'll be alright. And babe, don't you know it's a pity that the days can't be like the nights in the summer, in the city, in the summer, in the city. Well, good evening, everyone. This is Hot Town Summer in the City. It's about that time of the year. I know when we grew up in Southern California, this was about the hottest time of the year. It just get really hot right when you're getting ready to go back to school. Here in Texas, they've already gone back to school, but we would start like the third week in September, and it would be hot. So this song was a reminder of that for me, and we're glad to do this song for you. It was written by John Sebastian. It's called Summer in the City by the Lovin' Spoonful, and we're not doing a regular tribute again this week. We're just doing some oldies for you, and then we'll tell you maybe a little story and sing a song. You want to say hello, good evening, whatever?
Hello, good evening. Happy to be here. Happy to be breathing. Happy to be alive. Happy to be serving Jesus and singing songs.
Okay.
All right.
All right, then let's play another song.
Yeah, I don't know enough about this song to say anything, but I like it.
Only wanna be
right, that was a Dusty Springfield song, and she was one of the few.
She was one of the British.
Yeah, the
invasion
3 or
girl.
4 British invasion girls. Pat Clark, her, and Lulu. And Lulu wasn't very big in America, really. And Dusty Springfield had quite a few hits, and Pat Clark had some. Did we do Petula Clark last week? Or were we just thinking about it?
We just watched a show about her.
Okay.
There's the phone.
Her phone is ringing.
That's okay.
Whoever you are, just hang up and get online and watch us, and then call us when the show's over. So. Okay, so where are we going now? We're going to now we're gonna do something by Donovan, and he will tie into the last song that we're gonna do, and I'll tell you why then. But this was one of Donovan's big hits. He had quite a few. He was a somewhat unique character in that he wasn't in a band, and he was, at first they kind of tried to compare him and make him sort of like the British Bob Dylan or something, but he wasn't quite like Bob Dylan, except that he was a humdinger folk singer and a good songwriter. And this was called Sunshine Superman. Sunshine came softly through my window today. I could have tripped out dizzy, but I changed my ways. It'll take time, I know it, but in a while you're gonna be mine now, I know it. We'll do it in style. 'Cause I made my mind up, you're going to be mine. I tell you right now, any trick in the book, and now baby, that I can find. Superman or Green Lantern ain't got nothing on me. I can make like a turtle and dive for your pearls in the sea. Sit there thinking on your velvet throne about all the rainbows that you can have for your own. 'Cause I made my mind up, you're going to be mine. I tell you right now, any trick in a book, and now baby, that I can find. Everybody's hustling just to have a little scene. When we say we'll be cool, I think that you know what I mean. We stood on a beach at sunset. Do you remember when? I know a beach where, baby, it never ends. When you made your mind up forever to be mine, I'll pick up your hand and slowly blow your little mind. 'Cause I made my mind up, you're going to be mine. I tell you right now, any trick in a book, and now baby, that I can find.
Take up your hand and slowly blow your little mind. Blow your little mind. Blow your little mind.
There you go, Donovan Leitch. Donovan.
He was always one of my favorites.
Yeah, he just did so many great tunes. He was a great songwriter. He had one album I really liked. It was called A Gift from a Flower to a Garden. And it was a 2-record set. And one was an all-studio disc, which had several of the hits, the songs that were on the radio. Some of the songs off that album made it to the radio. The other one was an all acoustic one, but it was really cool. He just had such a great imagination. He told stories, and it was really neat. Anyway, and the way that ties in to our next song is a little convoluted, but around the fall of 1984, we had I had decided to go to school. I was going to study music, and I was there just a few weeks, and we got a call to move to. We were in San Diego at the time. We got a call, and we moved to San Juan Capistrano, which is just north of where the job was. The job was in San Clemente. San Clemente, for those of you that are old enough to remember Richard Nixon, would know Richard Nixon's home, his summer home or whatever, where he lived when he wasn't in the White House, was in San Clemente, and it was a high rent district that we couldn't afford to be in. So we couldn't even afford to be in San Juan Capistrano with the money they were paying us at this job. But that was
It was the closest thing to a real job we'd had since missionary days.
Yeah. They hired us to come on for 2 years, and they didn't want to pay us very much anyway, but they helped us move, and they paid our expenses for moving and all that stuff, and then deducted that from our salary for the next year. And so we we didn't make much money up there. But what it was at that time in the 80s, there was the toy companies had come up with a great way to sell products, and that was by doing 30-minute commercials that they called Saturday morning TV. And there was My Little Ponies and Care Bears and what was the Hallmark one? Smurfs and Strawberry Shortcake, all those kind of things. He-Man, all those shows.
Herself the Elf.
Yeah, all those shows were nothing more than 30-minute commercials to sell products for these companies, and a lot of people got upset. Parents were upset that the kids loved them, of course, and they would want, mommy, I got to have the new My Little Pony that just came out this week. And there was some people who wanted to do something about that. There was a bunch of Christian investors that wanted to come up with a Saturday morning cartoon show that was instead of just there to sell products, it was there to teach morals to kids. And so we had known a guy named Terry Laughlin who started this project. It was called The Tummies, and they were these kind of like little bear-looking creatures with pouches in their front, like a marsupial, like a kangaroo or something. But anyway, so they hired us, and it was a 2-year project, research and development. The Kanoki brothers, Bill and John, raised $4 million for a 2-year research and development project, and there were basically 4 of us in the research and development department, and we started working on it. And Dee and I did a lot of research on moral development in children and things like that. And at a point, we had to start developing, and so Terry Laughlin, who was originally in the program but was ousted somehow along the way, he hadn't been able to really come up with any visuals for the show. He had tried working with some Disney animators, and animators are animators. They're not character designers necessarily. And so that wasn't doing well. So I finally said, well, seeing as you guys are desperate, I know a guy who's sold about 16 million children's books, and I mean that literally. And that was a friend of mine, Steve Pileggi, from, I met him when I was in junior high. We went to junior high and high school together. and we're still in contact with one another. So we brought in Steve, and he started developing characters, and we did quite a bit of research and development and the moral thing and so on. Anyway, this is not important. What happened was about a year into the project, Dee and I and Steve, we all kind of got disillusioned with the thing and decided to go our own ways. And so we left, and Dee and I moved to upstate New York with Dee's parents to work on a project, which turned out to be a disaster too. That was a project that involved investors, and the general partner decided that he just wanted the money, so he took the money. We were stranded in upstate New York with no money in the wintertime, and no money for heating oil, no money for food, no anything. So the object of the first project was, in 2 years, they wanted to have this new property, the Tummies, on television. They wanted to get them onto one of the major networks, and that's pretty much what there was in ABC, NBC, CBS. There was 3 basic networks, and they were Saturday morning cartoons. They were trying to get on there. Dee and I, part of our research, had been trying to figure out, how can we do that? How can we get on TV? And it's not easy. We looked at some projects that had started off with humble experiences, because most of them didn't have a Hasbro or any of these big toy companies to just say, here's Hallmark, we got a bunch of money, put this on. There was things like, I remember Popeye the Sailor started in the comic strips, Peanuts started in the comic strips, even the Strawberry Shortcake started in greeting cards. And so literature seemed to be the cheapest and easiest way to break into this market, and we tried advising the Harvest Time folks of that, and they didn't think that was a good idea. So when we left, we kind of got together with Steve, and so we had about a year that we worked on our other project. Oh, did you bring in the books?
I didn't. You want me to go get them while you're telling me?
Yeah, go get the books. We started working with Steve. He had drawn these characters and wanted to do something with them, and we had been writers, and we'd already had a kid's book published and things like that. So he came up with these characters called the Dragonflies. Officially, they were the Dragonflies of Turcoya Forest, but they were little bitty dragons. They're about the size of dragonflies, but if you could get up close enough to them, you could see they were actually flying dragons. And the hook for these guys was that they were musicians, and the way it ties back into Donovan was that when we were working on developing the story and the background for the Dragonflies, I reminded Steve of something I had read way back in the day that Donovan had said. Donovan, in an interview, was asked about songwriting and all, and at one point they asked him about songwriting. He said, well, melodies are just out there floating on the wind, and I just grab one and stick it into my songs. So with that, I said, let's make the Dragonflies the characters for putting those songs out on the winds for everyone for all us musicians to get, which would have opened us up to be able to do anything musically, because we could do a song in any style and with the Dragonflies and say, well, and if people would try to say, well, you're copying the Beatles, or you're copying Jimi Hendrix, or we say, no, the Dragonflies gave these guys the melody, so they were copying the Dragonflies. So that was how Donovan tied into this song. Is we, as musicians, we were going to use our music in this show. And at that time, they weren't really using music in TV shows for kids. I think, as I mentioned to Dee, I think that the only one I could remember really that was doing it back then was the Muppets, and they weren't cartoons, and they weren't really. It was just like a musical. More, it was a musical scene in an old movie or something. The Muppets would have a song or two in their shows. I'm thinking of Fraggle Rock in particularly. That was Muppets, but anyway, so.
And the Muppet Show, they did.
Well, Muppet Show did musical numbers all the time, and there was Animal and all that stuff. So they were the only ones. But so we did these books. So let me just have one at a time here. We did these 4 books. Let's see. This one's called Discovery of the Dragonflies. Let me look at this one to see which one this is. Yeah, this is the one where in this book, here's caricatured caricature, cartoon drawings, whatever, of me over here on. Let's see, where is it? This one, that one's me, and then that one's Steve. Only that's supposed to be like our great great grandfathers who discovered the dragonflies many years ago. And then there was In Search of the Dragonflies. These books were cool. They had like a hole in the cover. This was a special thing, a die cut thing they had to do so that because they're looking out through the hole of a tree, and so whatever. Then there was The Watcher's Guide to the Dragonflies. Let's tell you all about dragonflies and what they were like. And then finally there was Rock with the Dragonflies, which emphasized their musical skills. So we got a publisher. Steve got a publisher. And we got those 4 books published. And that's now remember the first one, Harvest Time, was a 2-year program with $4 million to get it sold. Then there was D&I and Steve, who had 1 year and a $0 budget. And like I said, we were stuck in upstate New York for some of that time. We had to leave because Dee was pregnant, and had to go back to where we weren't afraid we were going to freeze one night when I fell asleep while feeding the fire or something. And so we were just struggling. I was working in a music store making $4 an hour, and Steve was, of course, freelancing and doing all his freelance work and trying to work on the Dragonflies at the same time. But at the end of that 2-year period, 2 years for the Tummies and 1 year for us, both of us succeeded at the same thing. That is, getting our properties bought by a major, like I think,
Production company.
well, I don't know. The Tummies were sold to ABC. I don't know who was supposed to produce them. ABC signed it for the Tummies, and Marvel signed for the Dragonflies. Now, the previous fall, the big thing from Marvel had been Muppet Babies. That was their first new show, and that, if any of you remember, that was huge. The Muppet Babies were huge, and they were looking for a follow-up to the Muppet Babies, and Dragonflies were going to be that. Now, Dee and I had left, and Steve, we'd all left the Harvest Time thing, and we weren't really talking to them about what they were doing anymore. So I don't know what happened. For some reason, the Dragonflies ended up, the Tummies ended up not going on that fall. And the Dragonflies, what happened there was the one of the big shots. The president of Marvel, somebody at Marvel offended someone, another big shot at NBC. And though, of course, I'm sure the networks would all claim there's no collusion involved and they would never do this. But what happened was the NBC guy talked to the CBS and ABC guys and said, these guys did me wrong. So let's just pass on them this year. Let's make them pay. They'll be sorry they screwed with us. And so they dropped the Dragonflies. So we had 2 great projects. Nothing happened with either one of them.
And we did get a publishing deal, but
yeah, we did have the publishing. I mean, I showed you the books, and you can still, if you really want to know, you can go online on Amazon or some used bookstore, and you can find a few of these. If you were ready to pay the $200 or $300 for one. But the little publishing company that helped us put these out and gave us our stepping stone to get on TV got just about the same time that we were getting canceled by the Muppets, whatever thing, Marvel guys. At the same time, a big publishing company bought out the little publishing company, which they like to do because they don't like competition. If someone's got something successful, they don't want it. They want to own it. So they bought them out, and then they decided that this was one of the projects that they didn't want to do. So the books even got canceled, and so. Said all that just to say this next song was one of the songs I wrote and recorded some songs for the Dragonflies because we had
part of the Dog and Pony Show part.
To sell the thing, we had to have 13 episodes,
13 scripts,
13 scripts and
13
another
more synopsis.
Yeah, so we could show them we had enough to do 26
character sketches.
Yeah, Steve did all the character sketches. He made big maquettes and all these big, 3-dimensional things. We had all that stuff. But one of the things we were going to do is music, as I've said. And so this was one of the songs that was going to be done by the dragonflies. And just imagine, if you will, these little bitty dragons flying around, and two of them in love, and they're flying around in circles and having a mating ritual, I guess, above the sands while this song plays.
No, a dating ritual.
A dating ritual.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. Shows what I know. Okay, let's do it. I am driven by the light of the moon. I am driven by the light of the moon. I'm beginning to think you're that one in the world, and I'm driven by the light of the moon. I can see you and me standing here beneath the moonlight endlessly. On it goes until it's out of my control. There's nothing left to do but dream of you. I am driven by the light of the moon. I am driven by the light of the moon. I'm beginning to think you're that one in the world, and I'm driven by the light of the moon. Can't you see I could be happier if only you were here with me? On it goes, oh, out of my control. My life depends on you. What can I do? I am driven by the light of the moon. I am driven by the light of the moon. I'm beginning to think you're that one in the world, and I'm driven by the light of the moon. Carried on a moonbeam to the middle of the same dream where we dance above the sands until the dawn. Moonlight in your eyes, suddenly the skies are bright again, but you are gone. Oh. Carried on a moonbeam to the middle of the same dream where we dance above the sands until the dawn. Moonlight in your eyes, suddenly the skies are bright again, but you're gone. I am driven by the light of the moon. I am driven by the light of the moon. I'm beginning to think you're that one in the world, and I'm driven by the light of the moon. I'm beginning to think you're that one in the world, and I'm driven by the light of the moon. All right, that's it. We're living with the strobe effect here, and that's the end of the show. So we'll see you guys next week. Anything else?
I just want to let you know that I finally posted another blog. It's at jimand.com and /blog. The name of it is The Problem of Pain, and I hope you enjoy it.
Thank you. Good night, everybody.
Good night.